From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production, the NFL Bet Exchange, hosted by my man, Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and the Don of Cape Cod, Jeff Dawson.
And welcome to the NFL Bet Exchange, hosted by the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper.
And Jeff Dawson, CEO, founder of East Coast Sports Investors, the Don of Cape Cod.
And there it is. And me and Jeff, we could have walked up in here so cool. We should have been wearing sunglasses right now because you know what? We crushed Vegas or any offshore book, whatever you wanted to do. If you tailed our show, you were smiling because you got an envelope on Monday. I went 11-4. Jeff went 10-4-1. And the funny part about Jeff going 10-4-1, the irony of the situation is that we both it came down to that game, the Sunday night game. Well, no, it wasn't the Sunday night game. It's a game that you got to push in, and I lost it. So or something. I got to check but let me check the numbers real quick. But it was crazy. Jeff got the push in the Eagles game. We put him over the top, the +6, but we got the 6.5. So I'll go ahead and I'll make it right for him. I'll make it right for you, Mr. Dawson. Because you did have the +6.5 here. So pretty much we both went 11-4 this week. So let me take that back. So because Jeff got the 6.5, because you know what he did? He bought up and I had the 5.5. So we met right in the middle. So pretty much we both go 11-4. And this ain't no Disney stuff or anything like that. We both just pretty much went 11-4 this week. He won the games I lost, and and vice versa. So it works out very well, Mr. Dawson, in that regard. So pretty much let's go ahead and jump into it. We have ourselves the AFC Divisional Games. We do have a game coming up Wednesday, but I'm not going to talk about that game because the show has already been recorded and all that good stuff. And that was for last week. We gave you the angle last week on that game, and I don't know, we probably won't be rocking with the Ravens come Wednesday, but hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. But let's jump into it. Crucial game here for the Colts. Going into Houston this weekend, we have a game where you have a Houston team that looks like they're playing much better football. Houston is 4-7 right now. They've been playing much better with Romeo Crennel coaching, and then they also have the Colts 7-4. This is going to be a +2.5 to the Texas side. I'm going off of everything I wrote in on Sunday as soon as the lines were released and everything like that, and the over/under of 55 as well too. So the notes that I have here on this game is going to be like this: the Colts are 3-2 in their last 5 straight up, 5-1 against teams below 500 as well too. But that one lone loss coming opening day to Jacksonville. And then you also have the last two losses by double digits, and they were outscored by 16.5 points. So, you know, they didn't their last 2 losses of the season, because you got to understand this team is 7-4, but the you know what I mean though, Jeff, in those 2 prior games that they just lost. So that was about 16.5 points. And then also, this is something that you have to note. They're 1-2 in division games as well too this season. Now, when it comes to the Texans, they're 3-1 since the bye week 8. And also they've scored 32.5 points in their wins, and they've scored 20.5 points in their losses. Deshaun is in a groove right now, in my opinion. So what I'm going to do here is I feel like the Texans are going to come in here and get a monster upset come Sunday. They're not going to be the dog bet of the week, but we're going to go ahead and I'm going to circle them at the +125, Jeff, and that's where I'm going to go with the Texans this week.
You know, it's funny looking at the numbers, and from when we even talked one day, how much these numbers actually move. And by the time the show was released on Thursday and Friday, the people sometimes, you know, watching our show are scratching their heads. It's like, where do you guys come up with these numbers? I mean, these numbers are released Sunday night while you're watching the late game. They're hit by the sharps Sunday night while everyone's sleeping. And then on Monday, when they're released to the public, a lot of these lines people don't see. So when we took a look at this, there was already reverse line movement on your angle on the Texans and the spread. And the sharps came in early Sunday night and pounded the Colts money line. So it's kind of one of those, you know, chicken or the egg or the chicken. We're going to go the other way here, Pops. We're going to just take the Colts to win. We're going to take the points out of play here. We're going to hope that they establish the run, win the turnover battle, and slow Deshaun down because they are playing great. Two guys suspended now because of PEDs, one on defense and, of course, Will Fuller on offense. Now they'll be able to try to slow down Cooks. Offensively could slow down Deshaun. We'll see. But we're going to take the Colts minus the 155 on the money line and just hope that they win, baby.
And there it is, Travolta Cage face-off time. You guys already know. So we're just telling you how it looks when you walk into a book. 50-50, both sides, baby. All right, so AFC only has one divisional game that's not a primetime game. Okay, I know there's another divisional game later on in the night, but this is divisional games that are going to be played during the day. So we have the NFC North, and we have the Lions coming in 4-7. You have the Bears 5-6, and also it's going to be a 3.5-point spread to the Bears at home, and we have an over/under of 43 here as well, too, Jeff. In my notes that I have here, first and foremost, the Lions feel like they have been freed from another incompetent coach, even though the coach prior was not that bad. It's just that the impatience of the Detroit fans is just it just cracks me up. You know what I mean? When you're trying to build something, and even when the owner has confidence in the coach, you still don't want the coach there. You know what I mean? You're just not understanding that Rome wasn't built in a day. But they fired Matt Patricia. They've been asking for this for the last 2 years. They literally asked for it the moment he was hired, and they found out the situation that occurred with him all the way back in college. So it was never a good fit for them. They've lost their last 4 out of 5 games as well, too. They're 3-4 though since the bye week. Since the bye week as well, too. So pretty much, but they've dropped their last 4 out of 5 games from what I saw. And then we also have they lost to the Bears in a very brutal beat where they were up 23-3 in the fourth quarter, Jeff. Fourth quarter. So they got revenge on their mind in that situation. But the biggest problem with Detroit is they're 0-3 in these divisional games as well. And the Bears lost 5 games in a row. It's that simple. Bears are bad. The offense is bad. Defense is literally just they're wasted. They're done. They've put way too much work in, and they're not getting anything from the other side. Trubisky's now playing for his career. Okay, it's that simple. It's either going to be you impress us now or be ready to be a backup for the rest of your career. I mean, in your career being like that, you were a starter and you were supposed to be this big time thing coming out of North Carolina. I always felt like that was a rush and that was an oversight by scouts as well, too. Allen Robinson is shining in a bad offense this season as well, too, Jeff. That's an incredible player right there. I feel really, really bad for him because he's having a great offensive year on a bad offensive team. And there's only one game where this defense gave up 30 points this season as well, too. And this is a note that Bears fans will probably be real cocky about. They have won the last 5 games in a row against the Lions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bad boy in reverse because I got the feeling that the Lions are going to come in here very confident because they don't have this anchor anymore in Patricia or in their GM as well, too. And they'll rock and roll this weekend, in my opinion. I got them with the plus 3.5. It's going to be a very close game because the Bears are going to have to work for this one because the offense is just in shambles, in my opinion, even though it did show some good strides there in the second half of the Green Bay game as well, too.
Kind of tossed here. The actual opening line was 6. It's already been bet down to 3. Juiced on the Bears at 3 minus 119. All the bets, all the money, 67% of the bets, 93% of the money all came flying in on the Bears. A lot of people like to use that angle too. Once a coach is fired, it's great to jump on them on that first game back. Even the money line, Bears opened up minus 280, already down to minus 170 right now, plus 148. We're going to try to get cute and creative here. Minus 170, a little too steep for our liking. We're going to take the Bears. We're going to buy the hook or even the full point here. Take them down to that 3 or 2.5. I do expect a close game here. I agree with all your points about the Bears and, probably Nagy's gone, Trubisky's gone, it's just been another lost year for them. So we're going to hope that they win by a field goal or more, and we're going to back the Bears here.
And it's funny because Nagy, that's not even the guy that Nagy drafted, Trubisky, but he's gonna have to be axed with Trubisky though. That's just
Nope.
I just don't. And you know what? I just don't. It just kills me with these teams in the North and in the NFC North. If you're not the Packers, everybody's just so dysfunctional, or the Vikings as well too. You know what I mean? So pretty much it's just if you want to go coach these teams, be buyer beware, man. Be ready. You know what I mean? If you're not successful right away, everybody's gonna be already ready to throw you to the curb. All right, so now it's time. And they looked very good last week. And this week, they are going to be the good news only dog of the week. But let me go ahead and break it on down from why I got to go ahead and do it, though, Jeff. I'm looking at it right now, the Saints Falcons game. This is going to be a plus 3.5 for the Falcons as the home dog, over under 47.5 as well too. And so pretty much I'm rolling with the Falcons this week because right now they're 4-2 straight up since starting the season, 0-5, a very duplicate of last season. 3 wins in their last 4 games as well too. And as the underdog this season, they're 4-2 against the spread, 3-3 straight up as well. And the 4 wins this season, they've outscored their opponents 143-98 as well. And they are winning these games 30. They're averaging like 35.5 per win as well too, and winning these games by double digits as well. But they are 1-2 in the division, and pretty much the Saints are rolling right now. They got 8 wins in a row after a 1-2 start. They've beaten their last 4 opponents by more than 24 points as well too. 2-0 with Taysom Hill as the starter, and the defense is only allowing 16.3 points per game in this streak as well too, and they're 4-0 division play. But the reason why I'm rolling with the Falcons because this is a bitter rivalry game, and you know they got to get the split, Jeff. So give me the Falcons plus 165. They owe me money from last time we played the Saints, and they didn't take care of me, so they're gonna take care of me this time. Because if I go with the Saints, the Falcons going to want to win the game. So I'm taking the Falcons plus 165. The good news only, dog, bet of the week.
You know, the funny part is last year when Breeze was out for 4 games, Bridgewater found a way to go 4-0. And in comes Taysom Hill now. Ugly performances in my eyes. A fantasy football nightmare for anyone that's got Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, etc. It's just been ugly. And here come the Falcons, the same thing they did last year. Started off so bad, and all of a sudden they start winning late. I agree with you as well here. We're going to buy the hook here. We're going to take the Falcons plus the 3.5. Hopefully keep it within that field goal. And with your selection, we'll be rooting for them to win outright as well.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's move forward and take it to the desert. And we're going a little bit south of Vegas, though. We're going to this place called Glendale, Arizona. And this is going to be a huge one right here, too, because this is the funnest division in all of football. So pretty much we got the Cardinals hosting the Rams for the first time this season. The Cardinals coming in as a 2.5-point dog, and that's for good reason. Over under 49 as well, too, for this game. So what I'm looking at right now, we got a team in the Rams that are 6-5 against the spread. And when it comes to over and unders, they're 3-8. Same thing goes for the Cardinals when it comes to the over and under 3-8. So most of their games have went under, but they're against the spread is 5-6. Now the Rams are 2-1 since their bye week, and the defense is only allowing 15 points per game in wins as well too this season. But they're allowing 27.5 points in losses as well too, Jeff, and scoring 21.2 in losses and 25.2 in wins this year. But this is one thing that works out very well for the Rams right now. They've beaten the Cardinals 6 times in a row as well too. Pretty much they have had their way with the Cardinals somewhat, and but they've been in some close games as well too. And since moving back to Los Angeles, the Rams are actually 7-1 and have never lost a game in Arizona as well too, Jeff. So Put that in your notes as well too. But the one thing that's killing the Rams right now is that they've been a favorite in each divisional game, and they're 1-2 straight up and 1-2 against the spread as well too. So that is something that gives the Cardinals a shot somewhat, because that's why you see the line looking at +2.5. When I look at the Cardinals notes, you got the Cardinals who they're 1-3 since the bye week. That's since week 8. They started the season 5-2, Jeff. They're 31. They're averaging 31.8 in wins. They're averaging 22.6 in losses this season. They're 4-4 in games that go under as well too, and they've lost the last 2 games in a row that have went under. So and pretty much they're 2-1 in games that have went over this season as well too. So they're 2-1 in division play, and that's what makes them look really good coming into this game, in my opinion. And they've been the dog in each and every one of their divisional games this season, going 2-1. And so when I get down to it, I just got to go with the trend, though. I feel like the Rams are going to be really pissed from what happened last week against the Niners, and they're not going to slip. I'm taking the 2.5 on the Rams here, Jeff. Let's go ahead and see how it shakes out.
Watching the Murray against the Pats last week, the shoulder's definitely an issue. They had the west to east travel, the 1 o'clock kickoff. They got gifted 7 points right away, and they just couldn't shake the Patriots late there. And now I look at a team, like you said, we talked prior to the show, and this Ram is a Jekyll and Hyde team. Not only they got to come into Arizona on Sunday, knowing they got a short turnaround game on Thursday against the Pats. The tough call here. The Rams, we were on the Rams on Sunday, and we got snake bit. And then, the week before, they lived high off the hog when they beat the Bucs. Kind of, must win for both teams. We're going to take a swing here with Kyler Murray, hoping to bounce back, hoping that shoulder gets a little better. Going to have to keep Donald in check, cover Cooper Kupp, and we're going to take them on the money line, plus the 130. Divisional game, home dog. We like the value there with the plus 130, showing a little reverse line movement there as well. So we're going to take the Cardinals, plus the 130 to win outright here.
There it is. So once again, another little face-off going on over here as well in the West, y'all. So we'll see how it goes. I got Goff. Jeff has Kyler. We're going to rock from there. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the NFL Bet Exchange.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange. The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
Austin here, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. Welcome you to the website. You're this close. Why not finish the deal and join our team? We're offering 2 great back to the basics and VIP packages for the rest of 2020. You can come on board to our own very own app and bet work, we call it, for as low as 99 cents a day, $29.99 a month. or for the rest of 2020 for just $90. And that's a savings of $30 and 1 free month. Or join our VIP membership, which gets you direct emails and texts to your cell phone on a daily basis. Our breakdowns, our do's and don'ts, why we are releasing this game, and what to be expected for those games and the upcoming future. So come on board, click the link, or follow us at EC Sports Invest on the Twitter. We will follow you back and answer any questions there, or also send us an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. Look forward to joining our team and seeing you soon at the winner's circle.
All right, we are back with the NFL Bet Exchange with the one and only Pop DBIC, the primetime capper, and on the East Coast, the Larry Bird of sports betting, my man Jeff Dawson, ECSI founder, the founder. All right, so let's get down to it. We have ourselves some good conference games coming up this week, Jeff. Some great conference games to be exact. And so where we at right now, Bengals at Dolphins. Bengals coming in 2-8-1, Dolphins 7-4, feeling good about themselves. And then pretty much you have yourself another very high spread, 11.5 for the Bengals to run with, and then over under of 43. So pretty much in my notes that I have for this week for this game, Jeff, they look like this. This is what I'm seeing here. We have a Dolphins team. We have a Bengals team that's actually top 10 in interceptions this year as well too. They're actually 9th in the league when it comes to picks. This team is 0-3 though since they went on their bye, and but this is something that the Bengals can put on their calling card. If you see the Bengals scoring a lot of points, they could win this game. They've averaged 32 points per game in each win that they've had this season. And then they're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games as well, too. So that gives you the utmost confidence in this team as well. They're 7. I have them 7-3-1, but a lot of books are making them 7-4. But we know what happened on opening day with the Chargers. That was a mixed up line. Some lines were 3.5, some were 2.5, blase. And then their last win though this season was over the Titans, 8-3 Titans, 31-20. And actually they whooped the Titans that day too. That game wasn't as close as it looks. But they're 1-5 straight up against the teams above 500, but 4-2 against the spread. And they're 0-2 against the spread and straight up as a double-digit dog this season. But those teams were the Ravens and the Steelers. It's a different story. Now, the Dolphins are 4-1 since the bye week in week 7, after a 1-3 start on the season as well, too. But really, they've snatched up their last 6 out of 7 to be – they're actually 6 out of 8 to be exact. So, pretty much, won their last 6 out of 7 games since week 5. And then – they're only allowing 14.5 points per game in wins as well, too. And they're scoring 29.8 in their wins. And then they're winning by a margin of 15.3 as well, too, Jeff. 5 wins by 11 or more points this season out the 7 that they've had. This is these are the things, these are the little things, 5-2 against teams below 500 as well this season. And this is the start of a 3-game home stretch as well, too. They're 3-2 at home, and they've won their last 3 home games in a row as well, too, after starting 0-2 at home. But all in all, though, I'm going to have to go with the trend, with the team that I feel can go ahead and cover a big spread like this, and that's going to be the Bengals. I know the Bengals don't have Burrow out there at quarterback, but they were going to have issues anyway for this whole season. And pretty much it would have been a long spread with Burrow playing quarterback. It would have been a more hyped game though as well too. But I'm taking a plus 11.5 on the Bengals. Let's see how it shakes out, Jeff.
Again, it's a real tough call here. Team again that has gone a couple different directions this year. The start of Fitzmagic, they bring in Tua, and now Tua is hurt. He gets pulled. Not sure who's going to start here. with Tua and his thumb. It's a great spot for the Dolphins. I agree. But I'm going to follow and piggyback you here. I'm going to take the 11.5 points. Again, this will all be predicated on winning the turnover battle, trying to establish some kind of offense here for Cincy, get T. Higgins in the loop, maybe that fossil AJ Green, the backfield, Mixon's still out, use Geo and company. And again, if the Dolphins D is scoring for them, it's going to be a long day for the Bengals, but we'll take them plus the 11.5. Hope and pray they keep it within 10.
Yeah, man, because to me, the Bengals have been so good to me this season. It's like I feel bad if I feel, but I know I went against them in both of those games where they were double-digit dogs as well too. But that's because the matchup called for that. This one is a different type of setup though, because Miami's not used to this yet. You know what I mean? They're really good, but they're not used to being this type of team. But when you got 5 double-digit victories, that gives you a lot of confidence. That's why lines makers are making this a plus. That's why they're giving the Dolphins 11.5 here, because they've been able to dispose of the bad teams. All right, so we got a very critical game coming up. We got a desperate team here, and we got a team that's hanging on for their playoff lives as well too. This is going to be the Raiders and the Jets. The Jets own 11. The Wofuls. They are the woeful. I'm telling you, boy, it's just the never-ending story with the Jets this season. But when I get into my notes, the Raiders are 3-3 since their bye week in week 6, 4-2 against the spread. 32 points per game in wins this season as well, one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL. But the Raiders have 3 losses by double digits as well too. 16 points, 25 points, and last week 37. 4-2 on the road this season though, and they're 3-2 against teams under 500. And but the biggest problem with the Raiders is they're giving up way too many points. They are 28 points. They are 28th in points against right now, Jeff. And then you have the Jets. When I get into these notes, it's just bad, Jeff. 7 losses by double digits, 4 by 20 plus points. 3-2 though in their last 5 games against the spread. 2-1 at home. 2-1 at home during that stretch as well. So they're 29th in points against. So they give up a lot of points, and they're only averaging 13.8 per game this season, and only scored 23 times this year. Jets won the last meeting though, 34-3 last season with Sam Darnold as the quarterback, and they were just as bad last season as well too. And the Raiders came in with the same exact record, I think, as well too. They were either 6-4 or 6-5. They had a really good record when they came in there and got absolutely blasted. Wound up dropping their next 5 out of 6 games as well too to close out their Oakland run. So all in all, I think the Raiders will be able to bounce back because they've lost 2 in a row twice this year, but they haven't lost 3 in a row. So I'm going to go with that adage right there. And I feel like the Jets just want to get the season over with, and the Jets win will probably come in a divisional game this year, in my opinion. I think that the Raiders are going to be able to win this game by 10 or better. At first, I thought the Jets could probably cover, but I think the Raiders are going to put the mash unit on them in this game. Carr has had great success against the Jets, especially when they're a bad team. So there it is. I'm taking the Raiders minus 7.5. Let's see how it shakes out.
You keep going to the well so many times. It's like keep going to the stove and putting your hand over the flame. People look at you, they roll your eyes, and I get it. Listen, the Raiders, a couple bad, they played well against KC. Good back and forth game, ran out of gas, and listen, they just didn't show up to Atlanta. This is a all systems go, must win. Chucky screaming, left and right. Jacobs banged up. I have to agree with exactly what you're saying. This looks like the layup, west to east. This is like God's gift to the Vegas Raiders, putting them back in the playoff contention. But yet, I just sit here, I look at 51% of the bets, 60% of the money, all flying in on Vegas, yet the line opened up at 8, dropped to 7.5. So in our business, our systems, that's called reverse line movement on the Jets. We're going to buy the hook, Give me the Jets +8. I know it's not sexy. I know the Raiders will probably win by 30, but we got to follow our system and give us the Jets +8 and pray.
Well, the Jets always need you because anytime you have ever said Jets, they seem to come through, Jeff. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next game, and our next game is gonna be this one. It's gonna be a doozy as well too. This is gonna be the Browns at the Titans, and Browns coming in 8-3, Titans 8-3. This is gonna be a spread of 46.5 on the over under, and then it's going to be, and no, I'm sorry, it's going to be a 53. I'm very, very sorry about that. 53, and then it's going to be a -4 to the Titans as the favorite here. So let me go ahead and jump into my notes for this one as well. The Browns, this is now listen to me on this one. The Browns are 3-0 against the AFC South this season. 3-0. And this is the punch out game right here to see if they can complete the sweep. And I think this would be the first time in about 15 years they sweep a whole division. I think the last time that occurred was when they swept the AFC West. So pretty much the NFC West, the NFC West. I'm sorry about that. The year they almost made it to the playoffs, 10-6 season. And also we have the 1-4 against the spread last 5 games as well too. That's one thing that where the Browns have been brutal at. They're 4-7 on the season as well. And then they're 1-3 versus teams over 500 though. This has been the thorn in their side this season as well. But they're 3-0 since the bye week, being week 9, and they're 1-2 this season as an underdog as well. With that one win coming against the Dallas Cowboys earlier this season. So pretty much they are 3-2 straight up on the road, but 0-5 against the spread. So this is another thing why you have the line kind of that's going to stretch out for the Titans once they start catching these notes. And then but the Browns are only allowing 16.2 points per game in their last 4 as well. And this is the biggest stat of them all. The number 1 rushing team in the NFL. They can literally they can play keep away if they want to on Sunday. Then you got the Titans, another great rushing team. But this is the Titans' issue this year. They're 1-2 against the AFC North with a bad loss against the Bengals and loss to the Steelers late. And also, they have been pretty much helter-skelter team in this second half of since starting 5-0. They're 3-3 right now, Jeff. And at one point they did lose 3 out of 4. And then they're also 3-2 over against teams over 500 this season. And they're actually averaging 29.5 points per game. That's good for 6 in the NFL. And they're 3rd in rushing. So they can play keep away as well too. And they're 4-2 at home straight up and 3-3 against the spread as well. So everything points towards you just that you have to back the Titans. I think what happens here is that the Browns are so pumped up that they're 8-3 right now, and Myles Garrett will return on Sunday, that this is going to be one of the better games that we get out this week. I don't know if the Browns win the game, but if anything, this game's going to be settled by a field goal, Jeff. I'm taking the +4.5. Gots to do it, brother.
You know, it's funny because from our notes to waking up and having the show now, listen to this, Pops. Line opened at 3. It is now currently 6. 56% of the bets, 87% of the money all came flying in on the Titans. Again, public remembers what they saw last. Under-over opened at 52 and a hook, shot up to 55. Again, 53% of the bets, 54% of the money on the under, yet the line moved 3 points. So it's kind of one of those, Henry moments. Here we think Henry, and then you got Chubb and Hunt on the other side. Mayfield again, hand the ball off, don't make mistakes. And it's a good story. They're having a great year. This Titan team, I wanted to put them on that mantle a few weeks ago, and then they started stumbling. I think it was right after the Ravens win at Baltimore. And now, again, they just made a statement in Indy. Which team shows up? This team's dangerous. And, I'm not saying they're going to go out and beat Mahomes. I'm not going to go and say they beat the Steelers. But when you got Henry trucking against you, in the fourth quarter, and they're playing ground control and you can't stop them, it's a tough out. So we're going to lean Titans at home -4.5 hook. Hope they get out early. Hope Henry has a big day and maybe a couple Tannehills to A.J. Brown, and we'll call it a day there.
All right. All right, all right, all right. And I'm telling you right now, man, this is gonna be it's gonna be a fun one, man. That's all I can say. And man, that guy is so smooth. I'm telling you, Derrick Henry, because it's like he'll bowl you over, but not really. He got the shifty moves as well too, and his speed is top notch. It's just that it doesn't look that fast because it's a 6'3", 6'4" guy running, but that's Usain Bolt type stuff that he does because every foot that he takes is about 3 feet from a little bit back. You know what I mean? So, hey, it is what it is. Now we move on and we have ourselves a good little game out here at SoFi. The Pats come and visit the new digs in LA. And a lot of people thought maybe this would have been the Tom Brady game against the Pats because, everybody wanted to send him to San Diego, send him to the Chargers this year, but that didn't occur. But when I look at this, you got a Pats team that's 5-6 right now, and you got the Chargers, the bad beat city Chargers themselves, 3-8 on the year. Now, when I look at the numbers for this, right, when I look at the notes for this, Jeff, I see this. I see a Pats team 5-6 against the spread, 3-8 over and under. So that means that this team goes under literally every game, pretty much. Now, they've won their last 3 out of 4 games as well, too, after a 4-game losing streak where everybody had already written off the Patriots. They're done. They're through. The Cam experience isn't going to work, but they've now won their last 3 out of 4. Also, they're 1-4 straight up, though, on the road, 0-5 against the spread. That's something that's working against them. That's why you might get the Chargers as the slight favorite come Sunday. Then you have the 1-2 versus the AFC West this season as well. Only win being the Raiders. They lost to both the Broncos and to the Chiefs. And then you have the 1-3 versus teams under 500. This is an alarming stat. This is something you probably will never see on a Bill Belichick resume for a season. Him 1-3 against the teams under 500. And then they're allowing 19.6 points per game. That's the bright side for the Pats as well, too, this season. 4th in interceptions this year with 12, and they're 5th in rushing. This is what's keeping the Patriots alive right now, too. And we're going to talk more about it at the tail end of the show when we get into the playoff race as well, too, Jeff. Chargers 3-8, woeful. I have them 4-6-1 against the spread, 7-4 over and under. So this team does give up a lot of points. They've lost their last 4 out of 6 since the bye week in week 6. They've only had 1 double-digit loss this season, though, Jeff. That was against Buffalo last week, losing by 10. And then they're 2nd in pass yardage this year, 3rd in offensive yards per game as well, too. This is alarming to me that this team is 3-8 right now at this point. So they're 1-5 against the spread since week 6 as well, too. And also they're 2-3 at home straight up and 2-3 against the spread as well. And 3-2 against teams under 500. Every single win they've had this season has came against teams with below 500 records. So the Chargers, Pats. I'm going to roll with the hot hand here and the team that's playing for their playoff lives each and every week now for the rest of the season. That's going to be the Patriots. And I'm going to get plus money on them early as well, too. I'm taking them plus 10. What do I have here? I have the plus 110 here for the Patriots. And that's what I'm going to do here, Jeff. I'm taking the plus 110 on the Pats, and I'm moving on, brother.
The Patriots, we were on the Pats last week. Nice little plus money win outright dog for us. Again, Cam just looked so brutal. I mean, he didn't even throw for 100 yards. Tried to give the game away a couple times. Now they're going to be traveling out west. It's going to stay there for 2 games, the Chargers on Sunday and then the Rams on that following Thursday. I got to go to the opening line here. Vegas said the Chargers opening up at -2.5. Again, public remembers what they saw last. Here's a Patriot team beating Kyler Murray, and here's a Charger team who actually had 2 shots to cover the spread, which would have been a nice backdoor for all the Charger backers, but they failed. And what do immediately after the game? Finally, Anthony Lynn, see you wouldn't want to be, you start stepping. I think a big part of that locker room now is relieved. They got a young rookie quarterback that's their future, that franchise, Dan Fouts right here. And him and Keenan Allen's like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, they are just on fire. I like the Chargers here. I think they're going to get after it early. I think that they can put pressure on Cam as well defensively. And I think the young Herbert and Keenan Allen shine. And I like the Chargers to win out right here. We're going to take them at the pick 'em and hope that they put a whooping on Cam.
All right, there it is. And see, he's going against the home team, Boston. So just know, Jeff, I'm on the Patriot side here, okay? So just make sure I got my clam chowder ready when I come into town, all right? After that's get me to win, all right? That's what it's all about. But with that, we got another break to take, and this is the NFL Bet Exchange.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange. The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
Austin here, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. Welcome you to the website. You're this close. Why not finish the deal and join our team? We're offering 2 great back to the basics and VIP packages for the rest of 2020. You can come on board to our very own app and bet work, we call it, for as low as 99 cents a day, $29.99 a month, or for the rest of 2020 for just $90. That's a savings of $30 and 1 free month. Or join our VIP membership, which gets you direct emails and texts to your cell phone on a daily basis. Our breakdowns, our do's and don'ts, why we are releasing this game, and what to be expected for those games and the upcoming future. So come on board, click the link, or follow us at EC Sports Invest on the Twitter. We will follow you back and answer any questions there, or also send us an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. Look forward to joining our team and seeing you soon at the Winner's Circle.
Welcome back to the NFL Bet Exchange with the one and only Pop DBIC, the primetime capper, and Jeff Dawson, the Donna Cape Cod, Mr. ECSI himself. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it real quick, and we have ourselves another really good matchup here with the Eagles and the Packers. Packers feeling good about themselves, 8-3 now on the season. The Eagles last night, oh man, 3-7 now, 3-7-1 now as well too. So when we go into this one, you got a spread of 7.5 that opened up on Sunday, but I know it's going to jump to about 9.5 to about 10 by the time you get to Sunday. It's an over under 48.5 as well too. When I look at my notes, I see an Eagles team that's 0-3 since their bye week. 5 straight games have went under as well too. So note that. That's why you have a low spread this week with the 48. And then also 1-4 on the road this year, and then straight up, but against the spread, they're 2-3. They're second in sacks on the season. That surprised me. That's why everybody was like, why was everybody so surprised when they were getting stops the way that they did? They have 36 sacks on the season. They're number 2 in the NFL. You know what I mean? So that's how they're staying in this race to win for the East, Jeff. You know what I mean? That's how they keep covering these games in the last moments, because they do somewhat still have talented players on the defensive side of the ball. And then you have 1-5 against teams that are over 500 this year. But this is what works out for them, though. They're 4-2 against the spread, Jeff, against those two same teams. So they're 14th in points allowed this season. So the defense is the calling card. They're somewhat in the same position as the Bears, but they have what they would say a feasible quarterback. The Packers, they just been smooth, man. They just been cruising. 4-0 before the bye week, 4-3 since, though. You know what I mean? That's how you know that this team is on cruise control. They knew that, hey, win September and just go ahead and go through the motions for the rest of the season. We'll be fine. They're averaging 31 points per game. That's first in the NFL. 403 yards per game. That's fifth in the NFL. And then they're 2-3 against the spread in their last 5. But they're 7-1 against teams under 500 this year as well. And once again, this is an alarming stat, Jeff. Aaron Rodgers has 33 touchdown passes, and we ain't even got to week 14 yet. Seriously, 33-4. And I keep saying Russell should be MVP, but I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers might already have Aaron Rodgers' name on it, because he is having a hell of a year right now. Like he said, Aaron Rodgers' bad season is a middling quarterback's great season. So he wasn't capped about that one. And all in all, this is a great game. But what I'm going to do here, though, Jeff, I'm going to go with the team that's going to be desperate here. As I said before, we got a coasting Packers team with a bad defense. It's that simple. You give up 24 points to a Bears team with the Trubisky, a guy that can literally only manage 17 to 20 for him. So, I'm going to have to go ahead and take the plus 7.5 on the Eagles. And I'm just thinking back to last season on the Thursday night football game when the Eagles went in there and beat them as, once again, a 7.5 point doggy dog. And I know I had them on money line that night as well, too. So there it is, Jeff, plus 7.5 on the Eagles. Go ahead and reduplicate what you guys did last season and hopefully get us a win, because I am going to throw them on the dog pick 4 come Sunday as well, too.
No, I was having flashbacks. I remember that we were talking about that game, and here was an Eagle team that came in there, had no rhyme or reason to win that game, and Wentz picked them apart. I think it was a shootout as well. You are correct. The line opened at 7. It is shot right up to 9.5. Eagles desperate. I mean, the Packer team is showing signs of, again, they got that looks like a 13-3 team again. And then they pick apart the teams they're supposed to win. And then I have in the back of my head the beat down that the 49ers, for Packer fans, that won't come up and bite them in the you-know-what again. I'm going to follow you. As bad as the Eagles are playing, they're still in the division. Wentz shows flashes. Miles Sanders, get him more involved. Let's not just heave and hoe. And defensively, they can be, put some pressure on Rodgers. If you don't put any pressure on Rodgers, you're in for a long day. I'm going to follow your lead here. We'll buy the hook. We'll take them plus the 8 on the show here. Anyone that sees this on Thursday can grab them probably at around plus 10 come kickoff. So we'll ride the Eagles together, my brother.
All right. I like it. All right. So we move on to a really good game here between 2 first-place teams. And one of the first-place teams is 4-7. And the other first-place team is 8-3. This is going to be the Giants at the Seahawks. We got a spread in this one that's going to be another short. I'm saying spread. We have another over/under here that's going to be a little lower than what Seattle's used to. It's going to be 48.5. And from what I'm seeing here in my Giants notes, we have 6-1 against the spread for the Giants the last 7 games after a 1-3 start. Okay. And now they've won 4 out of 6 as well, too. So this is a totally different team from the team that went on 5 to start the season. Now they have some confidence to them. Now, but one thing is they're 0-3 against teams that are over 500, but 1-2 against the spread. 0-2 against the NFC West, but 1-1 against the spread. And they're only allowing 21.1 points per game. That's good for ninth in the NFL. Now you got Seattle. They're 6-5 against the spread, 6-5 over and under. And actually, they've went under in their last 3 games as well, too, Seattle. So that's something of note as well. Also, Seattle has not been the greatest covering team the last few weeks either. They've actually they've of only covered one game, and that was the Cardinals game last week. So pretty much in the last 4 or so that they played. So, the Seahawks are, like I said before, when they lost to 3 out of 4, that they're just going through the motions, and that's what happens. You know what I mean? Team gets off to a great start. And, they had to go through that point in time of the season and go from there. And now you look up, this team is 8-3. They're playing very good football. They got the memo against the Rams. It wasn't the Cardinals game that gave them the memo. It was the Rams game that gave them the memo. And so pretty much where I'm going here is I think that Seattle will go ahead and have themselves a game. And I'm going to go ahead and take Seattle here in this spot. And I think Seattle is going to ball because Seattle is undefeated at home as well, too. And they haven't covered every game at home, but they should be able to take care of their business. I'm going to buy down as well, too. Give me the Seahawks at a -9.5.
As we talk about this game here, now they're showing a line of 7. I think that 9.5, 10 could have been because of the uncertainty of Daniel Jones and his injury. Currently right now, let me see here. Yeah, we got an undecided here. So it's a tough call. I mean, I would think Seattle would thrive if Daniel Jones doesn't play. But I'm showing right now a 7 here on Sports Insights. I don't have Don Best up with me. I like where the Giants have been going. Again, it's a team now that, them and Washington is at the top, and then you got the 2 co-favorites, at the bottom. So will it flip-flop as the season progresses? I don't know. I'll take a soft swing here and approach with the Giants. Defensively, they're playing better, and hats off to Seattle and that defense. The last couple of weeks has been real good, and a short week for them. I think Russell and company maybe will be looking ahead. We don't know. We're going to grab the points here. We'll grab the 9.5, 10. We'll buy the hook and take them up to 10 if we have to, 10.5. Hopefully they can keep it close, but out in Seattle, the wet conditions, the snowy conditions, these games can get out of hand quickly. So you got to win the turnover battle if you're back in the Giants. Hopefully Daniel Jones is playing, but we'll take the 10.5 with the Giants.
All right, and we move on to our interconference games. Now, we got a fun one here. We got the Jags at the Vikings, and Jags at Vikings presents some funny elements because you have a actual Jaguars team that's not that bad against the spread this year, to be that honest with you. They're not that bad against the spread, but they're bad at the same time, too. They did get a cover last week, but they're just not playing like up to par football. They haven't won a game since week 1. And pretty much I'm looking at it right now. They have covered their last 3 out of 4 games, though, so since the bye. But they're on 4 since that bye week as well, too, straight up. And, they're riding right now, which is a 9-game losing streak. So they are coming up in here as a team that is seen as a doormat, and their starting quarterback probably will not be available. But one thing I can trust, though, is that Mike Glennon's going to get one good game out of being a starter for the Jaguars. And I think that the Vikings defense has been improving, but this is one where they're going to take their eye off the ball a little bit, and the secondary is going to get a little torched up by Mike Glennon just a little bit, Jeff. And I think what's going to happen here is that I can go ahead and be real quick about this. I'm going to take the Jags with the plus 9.5 because I know the whole world is going to think that this is a double-digit victory for the Vikings. But hold on a second. The Vikings are not the best team when it comes to covering the spread this season. They're still a 5-6 team. And as you know, they just have had their woes when it comes to these bad teams this year as well too. You know what I mean? So they lost to winless Falcons team during this early season. Also lost to a Detroit team as well too. No, they beat Detroit. I'm so sorry. They lost to a bad Dallas team as well. So you can't just go up in here and say they're a surefire lock to cover in this game. So I'm taking the plus 9.5 on the Jags.
Great points all across. And 2 weeks ago, we're anointing the Vikings team is back, and they were, 7.5-point favorites to Dallas. Dallas goes box to wire. A team, Minnesota, that sneaks out a win last week against the Panthers. You say Cousins to potential rookie of the year, Jefferson. They got Dalen. I don't know if he'll be back. They got the best back in the game with Dalvin Cook. Real tough call here, Pops. It seems like last week we were together on every game, and this week we're kind of on opposites. No confidence here, but we'll lean the Vikings -9, take the hook, hopefully, double-digit win. Again, if they come in and concentrate and play 60 minutes, I think it's a double-digit win for them. But they just have been inconsistent, as most of the NFL has been this year. Don't know if it's coaching, don't know if it's COVID, but we'll take the Vikings by the hook -9 and pray.
There it is. Now we move on to a game that's very pivotal for one of these teams, and that's going to be the Washington football team versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. For now, we don't know if they're going to be undefeated after Wednesday, but for right now, they're undefeated and they're 10-0. They're playing the best ball of their lives. But let me go ahead and get into my Washington notes real quick. Washington has been a surprise team. Since the bye, they're 2-2, Jeff. They're 2-2 since their bye. But one good thing that you can put on the books for them as well, too, is that this team has went ahead and actually covered those last 4 games as well, too. So that's something that works out very well for them. Actually, they've covered the last 3 out of 4 because the Giants game, they were the favorite. But the other 3, they've covered the last 3 in a row. So they're playing good football. They're 4-7 as well, too. The Giants own the tiebreaker because the Giants did sweep them this year as well. So, that's where they have their advantage at. But this is the advantage Washington holds. They've swept Philadelphia on the season. So, no, they beat Philadelphia once. I keep thinking that they swept them, but they didn't. I'm just keep thinking about that Giants game from a few weeks back, beating them by 10. But I'm sorry, they've already beaten Philadelphia, and they swept the Cowboys. Sorry about that. I'm just over here trying to protect my Metroplex people. But, yeah, Dallas, you got swept by a team with no name. So, pretty much they have literally 3 divisional wins this year for Washington, Jeff, and that's exactly, pretty much how they're in the race right now by winning those divisional games. They got 1 win over a bad Bengals team. So when you look at it, they've beaten nothing but teams with losing records this season, and that's fine because at the end of the day, that's what you're supposed to do when you got teams with losing records. If you feel like, when you get to these games, you're a bad team, you're playing against a bad team, it don't matter who wins. As long as you get that victory, you can move on down the road. So they have been awful when it comes to teams over 500. I'm looking at it right now. They have lost pretty much they're 0-3 against that group. So, Washington, they're going against the best team in the NFL right now, record-wise. And the Steelers, they're feeling good about themselves. The Steelers is coming in here. Last few games have went under as well, too. They had a couple close calls, though, with Baltimore and with the Cowboys. But the last 2 games, they cruised against 2 of the worst teams in the league. You got Cincinnati and Jacksonville. That makes up for what? That would be a 3-18-1 record that they've just won against. So, the Steelers kind of going through the motions a little bit, and they're going to actually have to have a game where they're going to play a little bit here, Jeff, against the Washington, because Washington's playing for higher stakes right now as well. So I can see them surprising the Steelers in a sense in this game. But I think, though, at the end of the day, though, the Steelers are such a dominant force that they'll wind up still winning this game by 11 or better when it comes down to it. I'm just saying that Washington will probably show some heart in the beginning, but when it comes to closing time, Pittsburgh is going to be that squad, in my opinion. So I'm taking Pittsburgh with the -10.
I agree. Tough spot, I think, for the Steelers, having to now play the Ravens tomorrow on Wednesday. And then, hats off to the NFL, I guess. We got a triple header next Monday. So it's kind of neat. You get 3 games for the price of 1, basically, for your Monday football point of view. And we're kind of, what Rivera has done with this Washington team has been amazing. It really has. Everyone says no quarterback. The Alex Smith comeback player of the year is basically his now. Great wide receiver with Terry McLaurin. Antonio Gibson's had a great rookie year. And now the Steelers haven't lost. And I think it's going to be a tough game for them to bounce back. I do agree with you on this one as well. I like the Steelers. I think the defense, even on a short week, will be ready. Look for them to win and win by double digits. So we bought the hook. We're taking the Steelers minus the 9.5. And hopefully coming into this game, we'll still be undefeated.
All right, and there it is. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take our final break of the show as well, too. So when we get back, we're going to jump into those primetime games and into the playoff chase as well. So you guys stay tuned. This is the NFL Bet Exchange.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
At Amazon, we're pretty good at getting things done. We're pretty good at solving problems. COVID-19 is the biggest challenge we've had to face. But challenges are what motivate us. Like flying masks to our employees around the world. We're doing everything we can to get you what you need, and doing everything we can to keep our people safe. I'm former Navy pilot Sarah Rhodes, and I'm proud to lead our Amazon Air network.
All right, we are back with the NFL Bet Exchange, and we are now in the fourth quarter of the show. And boy, oh boy, this is always Jeff's favorite time. Jeff's favorite time, so he can get rid of me. Like that, DiBiase. All right, so Broncos at Chiefs, Sunday night football game, or they're not changing it to Monday night, are they? It's a Sunday night game, right? All right, so we got a 4-7 Broncos team and a 10-1 Chiefs team. One of the most bitter rivalries in the NFL. Last time they met, Broncos absolutely got smacked in that game. So going into this game, you got a Chiefs team that's actually just it's their world, Jeff, right now. They just they do what they want. And you know, you got Mahomes out there as goofy as ever, but getting the job done on a weekly basis. Then you have a great Tyreek Hill, one of the fastest human beings you'll ever see run down a field. But I'm looking at it right now. You got a Denver team that's struggling. They've lost their last 3 out of 4 games. And that was after winning 2 out of 3 as well, too. So pretty much this team has had a really up and down year when it looks like the bottom point happened last week with no quarterback. So this week, I feel like they're going to have some pride to them. That was embarrassing what happened to them last week. So this is a dangerous 14, in my opinion. But then you got the Chiefs here. They playing lights out, great football. You know, they are actually what now 3-1 against the division as well too. So when you look at this game and you look at everything that's moving forward, this is a game that the Broncos can be a real nuisance in. And it seems like they've been like that against the better teams in the league this year as well too. They beat the Patriots, you know what I mean? And they actually took the Steelers down to the last minutes as well too. So, you know, this team is not anything to sleep on, in my opinion. I think that what happens here is that the Broncos actually come alive in this one, and I'm taking them with the plus 14 here. There's not we already know about the Chiefs. The Chiefs are awesome. The Chiefs are in the championship game automatically, I guess, this year. I wouldn't really do that yet, though, Jeff, because the AFC's tough, bro. Yeah, you know, you got teams that are from 8-3, 7-4, 6-5, and it's a big number of them. You only got 4 really bad teams in the AFC this year. Well, to me, really 2. That's the Bengals and the Jets. Well, the Jaguars 2, 3. It's 3. And you know, pretty much Houston's just somewhere in the middle. Well, they're in the Denver category. That's exactly where they're at. So they still loom a danger somewhat.
You know, what strikes me with this one is the Saints were 17-point favorites on Sunday. Yes, they had no quarterbacks. Got an alert earlier this morning before taping here that it looked like Locke would be available pre-COVID here. You know, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. We were talking off air about just it's Mahomes' world, and when these quarterbacks come, you know, or certain players in sports that deem special, he is one of them. He is just the coolest cat. He'll take 10, 12, 13 steps back and just fling it 50 yards sidearm. Tyreek Hill, I mean, geez, it's Ronaldo Niemeyer, I guess. He can't be covered, and everything's going well. I think it's a game that KC hopefully takes the foot off the pedal. I'm with you. We'll grab the hook here as well, Pops. We're going to grab the Broncos plus the 14 and a hook in case it lands on 14. You just got to, you know, keep it close, keep Mahomes off the field, and pray. That's it.
Pray. That old Hammer song right there. Praise him. You know, all right. So we move on and we have ourselves a very good Monday Night Football game, in my opinion. And this is one that brings back very fun memories as well, too. This is one of the only games in the NFL that didn't involve a punt about almost 30 years ago. And it was crazy to see. I can't think of his first name right now, but his son, that's who I'm talking about. But Sunday, Minnesota, baby BB scored the game-winning touchdown. And then I had to look it up. I said, this got to be Don's son. And it's Don BB's son. And do you guys know that Don BB ran a 4.21? That's absolutely insane. Or a 4.24 at his 40s time is nuts. So Don BB, I'm just throwing this out there. Don Beebe is one of the most underrated receivers of all time. Period, point blank. I swear he was Wes Welker before Wes Welker, McCaffrey before McCaffrey, not baby McCaffrey, but daddy McCaffrey. And literally all these little receivers If Don Beebe comes from that group, man, that Don Beebe, man, we don't talk about him enough. But if they would have won some Super Bowls, Don Beebe would be seen as it would be more talked about. But man, that guy was incredible. But the greatest play Don Beebe ever made was the Leon Lett play. That's how you know. That's why I had to throw his 40 time out there. But I just wanted to go down to the memory lane real quick because Don Beebe was a big part of this game when they played the 49ers years ago at the Stick. And it was an ESPN game as well, too. I think it finished up 35 to 38, 35. And this is the Bills in there as a dominant, awesome team. And the Niners were also a very awesome team at that point as well, too. They were the Niners, not the back and the inconsistent Niners that we see today. I'm talking about the machine Niners. So pretty much that was one of the better national TV games you'll ever watch. And I think that this one can duplicate that one as well, too, Jeff. This is going to be a barn burner. This is going to be a hell of a game. You got Josh Allen playing really good football right now. And then you got, you know what, keep it real. Mullins is playing some lights out football. That's why they call him Baby Varv. And that's why you didn't see San Francisco saying, oh, we got to go find a starter when Jimmy G was out. It was almost like Shanahan was relieved that he was able to put Mullins back into the game. Honestly, I think he likes Mullins a bit more than he likes Jimmy G, because he kind of suits the game plan a bit better than Jimmy G does, in my opinion. You know, when it comes down to the X's and O's of what Shanahan's truly trying to do. You know, so I think that this is going to wind up being a really good game. And I'm going to go with the home team in this spot. They're giving the Niners plus 2.5 as a dog. It's an over under 48. I like the Niners plus 120 money line because the Niners are showed me some things last week that it's not about who's out there playing. They have a total team. You know, they're coached up to show up. They're kind of like the San Antonio Spurs right now of the NBA. I mean, of the NFL. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got your best players out, but you got these other guys that are stepping in and really nothing. You're not really missing a beat, even though, you know, you're still only 5-6 on the season, but you're still in the race. That's the whole thing. And they do loom a danger, and Buffalo is kind of ripe for a loss. They've been balling lately. So, you know, sometimes you kind of do for a loss as well, too. So that's how I'm feeling. I'm taking the plus 120 on the Niners.
I love the Niners. I love everything about them. And then you got the Bills here going west to east. I'm sorry, east to west. Primetime game. Kind of reminds me of the setup when they came in for the primetime game against Kyler Murray in Arizona, and they handled their business. Tough call here, Pops. I don't know the emotional side of just what the 49ers did this past week against the Rams. I mean, they got out early, then they gave up the lead, but then they came on and Gould hit the field goal to win it. I'm kind of tossed here. I'm looking at the numbers. So for our final say on this matter is we got to look at the opening number. It wasn't a pick 'em. It wasn't the 49ers -1. They leaned the Bills minus the 2.5 here. We're going to take the money line here. Bills minus 135, 140. Tough call. I could see, you know, as this week progresses, the sharper guys maybe starting to lean on the home team there because they're not dead and buried yet. You know, a win gets them to 500. And I too, you know, Mullins is playing for maybe, you know, for them to push Jimmy G aside next year. So tough call here. We'll take a shot with Josh Allen, and on the money line, though, we're taking the points out of play here.
All right, there it is. So once again, face off, Monday Night Football. Dun, 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 dun. You already know. All right. Well, we do have another game, Cowboys Ravens, but I'm keeping that game off the board. I'll talk about it on the Daily Show when that game does occur and everything like that. It's just a messy situation right now with the Ravens and everything like that. And we all know where we're going to go in that game as well too. But all in all, let's go ahead and talk about the playoff race as we get to the tail end here of the show. And I'm reviewing 6 teams here, Jeff, in a sense, and I'm being quick about it. But we have an AFC wildcard race. You have the Browns, who are 5th right now. Their last 5 opponents of the season record is going to be 28-24. So they have a winning situation going on. To me, the key games for the Browns, that they have to go ahead and win at least one of them is going to be the Titans coming up this week, the Ravens next week, and then they get the love week 15 and 16. They get the Jets and Giants back to back. That should be the two games that gets them into the playoffs if they're able to win that game. But to me, to ensure your playoff this season, you have to win one of these three games against the three other teams that possibly are going to be in the playoffs as well too. The Ravens are kind of hanging on a thread right now. The Browns could be the team that actually puts them away if they want to. So it's up to them to you step it up and get a big win somewhat. And really that Pittsburgh game looks a little tempting as well for the Browns. It's going to be at home as well too. And Pittsburgh will already probably have clinched for the playoffs as well. So it won't be a game of that much importance for them because it's looking like they're going to be the first seed overall anyway. So we'll see how it goes. But the Browns do have a path that says that they can clinch within the next 3 weeks if everything works out correctly for them, if they're able to knock out the next three, knock out 3 out of 4 here, Jeff, or really pretty much what I'm saying is they got to win 3 out of 5 to get into the playoffs. That's it. That's 11-5 to finish the season. I think that will be well enough. Real quick, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the next couple games will be tough. I don't know which way the Ravens will be going, but their last two, again, the Browns should mop up. You said the Giants, and who was it before the Giants?
It's Jets and Giants come week 15, 16. So
yeah, so again, you're talking minimum 10 and 6. I don't know if they can sneak one out with the other two, but they're fine. I think they're in as long as they don't, just themselves.
So games are at MetLife as well too.
Yeah, so they should be fine.
It's a double up at MetLife, and then they actually have 3 road games and 2 more home games. And the Browns have only lost 1 game at home this season. So, but those home games are Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Now let's go ahead and talk about the team behind the Browns, and that's going to be the Dolphins, who are the 6th seed, 7-4. Their last 5 opponents' records is going to be 29 and 23. They have a tough road, in my opinion. They got to play the Pats next week. They got to play the Pats week 15. Then the next week they play the Raiders. The Raiders might be the most critical game for them getting into the playoffs this year, in my opinion, because the Bengals game looks like it's going to already be. They're already kind of making it a Dolphins win, but that's not a guarantee yet. But the Patriots game is going to be really the game that I feel like they probably will regress and take a step back. I think the Patriots actually sweep them this year. And then the Raider game is going to be the pivotal spot, in my opinion. Even though it's going to be 3 weeks from now, the Raiders are in this race as well too, and that's who they leapfrog to get to the 6th spot. The Raiders were sitting in that 6th spot for a while. Now it's the Dolphins in that spot. So 29-23 for their last 5 opponents of the season, and I think that this is going to be critical that they win at least 2 out of these 3 games right here to even think about the playoffs, in my opinion.
I think you kind of circled it perfectly there. The winner of the Dolphin Vegas game could be the winner of that will probably knock out the other one. So the difference between them and Vegas, in my eyes, is defense and coaching. I mean, I'm a Chucky fan, don't get me wrong, but I really like what Flores is doing. And their defense has been playing great. I like where they're going. I think they're going to sneak in.
Okay, and so we have the Dolphins here, and as I said before, the Dolphins have 5 double-digit wins this year as well. So they check off everything. So I think the 5th and 6th place spots are very safe. It's the 7th spot that everybody really needs to look very closely at. And the team that's sitting in the 7th spot right now is the Colts. The Colts went from leading the AFC North to being leading the AFC South to now being as the last wild card team in at this point. But we still have to play the games, and they honestly have the easiest schedule. They have one of the easier schedules out this group as well. They actually get to line it up with the Texans twice, and then they line it up with the Jaguars as well too. But their tough spots are going to be this one. The Raiders in week 14. This is going to be probably the biggest game of the season for both of these teams. The Raiders' schedule is, we'll talk about the Raiders in a moment, but the Raiders are in a damn situation right now. That loss was huge against Atlanta last week. But the Raiders, they get the Raiders week 14. They get the Texans week 15. So the Texans game is going to be critical because they're not playing well in divisional play. And the Texans, Romeo like to spoil teams' seasons as well, too, if he ain't going to get nothing out of it. And then the Steelers could be a big letdown because the Steelers will probably be playing for that playoff bye week 16 well too. So the Colts have literally there's 21 and 22 last five the records are their last five opponents, but they're playing 3 divisional games within that as well too, and they're playing against 2 teams that are over 500. So we're going to see how it goes, but to me they need to win at least 4 out of 5 to be in the playoffs for sure. But it all depends though. If the Titans somewhat falter, they still have a shot at winning the division. So they're in good shape. But the Raiders and the Dolphins are actually in good shape to maybe win the division as well too. They're only a game behind, but the Browns and that's a foregone conclusion who's going to win that one. We got the Ravens here though too. They're 27 and 36 and won last 5 opponents, so they actually might have the easiest walk to the situation. They only need to worry about winning the Steelers game that's coming up tomorrow, which is probably going to be tough. And then they get the Browns next week, and then then they get the Giants in this group as well too. But other than that, they're playing against Cincinnati, and I think that they're playing against Jacksonville here at the end of the year as well too. No, they haven't played Jacksonville yet. So pretty much, let me just look at their schedule real fast, Jeff. Sorry about that. But Baltimore's schedule, as I can see here, the last 5 teams, it's going to be Dallas and Jacksonville and the Giants in this group, and Cincinnati as well too. So these are games that literally, like, they are handing these fellas this final wild card, one of these wild card spots with this way the schedule set up. But we don't know. This Ravens team is different. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the culprits here. The Raiders, the guys that literally let their season slip away. The Kansas City win would have been huge for confidence for them and within the division, and that would have been huge. But we kind of had the idea that they could drop that game. The Atlanta game was a must-win situation that has literally put the Raiders season in peril when it comes to getting to the playoffs this year. And they have to literally, to me, they have to win out. But if they take 4 out of 5, minimum 3 out of 5, they should be able to maybe sneak in. But they have to beat the Colts and Dolphins though to pull this off. Those are the 2 teams that they definitely have to beat, because then they have 2 division foes when they got to play against the Chargers and the Broncos. But still, they have those 3 games I just put out: Jets, Colts, Dolphins. Those games have to be won, and especially one of these games between the Colts and the Dolphins as well too. So pretty much the Raiders, all in all, to really make the playoffs, the Raiders have to win out. But they can get 4 out of 5 here, and I think they could sneak in. But 2 of those wins need to be against Miami and Indianapolis as well too. So we'll see how it goes. And then last but not least, Darth Vader of the NFL himself, Bill Belichick, is still looming the danger. We know the Death Star is half a ship right now, but it's okay because they're repairing it by the day. And you know what? If they went out 5 in a row, they could possibly steal this division if Buffalo gets cute here at the end of the year and say finishes up 1-4 or so in their last 5. But if the Patriots went out, they'll be able to leapfrog the Raiders and be able to be the team that's in the spot 10-6 going into the 7th seed of the playoffs. That's absolutely nuts. But that's exactly what I said in my notes. Pats have to win all 5 to get into the playoffs.
There's a talk radio show, the number 1 in all New England at 98.5, the Sports Hub, and from 2 to 6, Felger and Maz talk about the path, and believe in the path. Well, let me tell you, the path starts Sunday. in San Diego and then down the road on Thursday night against the Rams. Win both of those games and then come talk to me. It's been one of those years for them. I'm a big Bill fan, but it's been tough. They thought Cam was the stopgap. I have no idea what they're doing, what they're thinking. They come back 0-2 from out in LA, and then maybe they'll go to Stidham for the last 4 games. Who knows? But the path in my eyes is long gone. But we'll see, Pops. We'll see.
They'll be okay. There's no clubs open in LA, so Cam will be fine. And they're staying in San Diego too. Great weather in San Diego as well. And they'll be fine. I think they split at least in LA if they don't sweep, but it's going to be a tough task with the Rams, but it's going to be a tough task with the Chargers as well too. So we'll see how it goes. But this AFC playoff race is something of amazement. Next week, we'll talk a little NFC playoff race as well too. The little bitty parts that has as well too. So we'll see how it goes. But all in all though, that's all I got. Jeff, any final words?
We both had amazing weeks last week with 11 wins. This week, again, COVID's been tough. Early lines, a lot of numbers just popping off the books. So when you see this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday and say, where do these guys come up with the lines? These lines are as hot as they are when they're announced and opened. So, bear with us, take what we have in stride, always invest responsibly and just take it one game at a time. If you like what you're hearing here, follow us at EC Sports Invest on Twitter. Check out our website at www.eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. You can go over to Facebook and IG at Jeff Dawson at East Coast Sports Investors. Any questions, send us an email. eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. Can't believe the season's in the fourth quarter. Looking forward to a strong finish, Pops. And as always, thank you so much. Blessed and honored to be a part of the big move.
All right. So it is what it is at the end of the day. This is the NFL Bet Exchange, and I am gone. Toodles.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFL Bet Exchange, where the sharpest bets are laid. This show was produced by the Prime Wave Media Group.